In 2022, Kenya stood at the crossroads of history. A man born from humble beginnings, a hustler who had defied the odds, had risen to the highest office in the land. William Samoei Ruto was no longer just a politician, he was a symbol of hope for millions.
2022, hawa watu wa mama mboga, na ule wa bodaboda, na hawa wa mkokoteni na wheelbarrow, na huyo wa kioski na makanga, tutaunda serikali ya mahasla 2022, wajipange.
A man who claimed to understand the pain of the people, a leader who promised to give power back to the hustlers, the ordinary men and women who felt forgotten. In his own words, he was one of them. A son of a peasant. A man who had risen from the dusty roads of Kamagat to the corridors of power. His message was clear, the hustlers are rising.
Wangapi wako na imani tutaunda serikali 2022 ya mahasla? Yes.
To many, Ruto's victory was the victory of the common Kenyan. The man who promised to change the system, to fight for the people, to bring the hustler narrative to the center of Kenya's politics. Welcome to Web of Deceit Savannah Stories. If you enjoy, please like, share, and subscribe to Politics. For years, William Ruto was the voice of the voiceless.
And even the cabinet, it is parliament, which was the central player in the betrayal of the people's constitution. Many members having been manipulated to endorse a draft constitution that has now been resoundingly rejected.
In 2013, he was one of the youngest politicians to rise to prominence on the back of a promise, to be the representative of the hustler, the forgotten Kenyan. The rise of his hustler movement was not just political, it was deeply personal. His story, his journey from poverty to power, spoke to millions who felt left behind in Kenya's economic system.
Excellency Deputy, anajua Wakalenjin wanataka nini? Wakalenjin wanataka peace, wanataka uongozi. Na Wakalenjin hawana mambo mengi, wakisha install somebody, they support. Vile tuli install Moi na kusupport mpaka mwisho, tuta support yeye. Lakini ile bora ndogo ndogo namna hiyo mimi namwambia Deputy avoid. Hapana, wewe ni juu huko unataka nini makabana? Unataka au mjumbe? Au mjumbe yote.
By 2007, Kenya was on the brink of collapse. The election violence that followed left hundreds dead and thousands displaced. Ruto and Uhuru, both implicated in the violence, found themselves at The Hague, facing charges before the International Criminal Court. But it was also during this time, when Kenya needed a way forward, that a new alliance was born. The pairing of Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta was a political masterstroke. A partnership that defied expectations, two men once bitter rivals, now allies with a shared vision. Together, they campaigned under the banner of Jubilee, promising to unite Kenya and bring an end to ethnic divisions. But as the months passed, the reality began to sink in. The promises of a bottom-up economy, affordable housing, and jobs for the youth started to fade. The hope that had once been sparked in the hearts of Kenyans slowly turned to skepticism.
Mimi nataka niwaambie hii mafuta inaongezwa usiku na mchana. Mimi nataka niwaeleze ya kwamba these people don't understand the damage they are doing to the people and the economy of Kenya. Kwa hii taxes wanaongeza usiku na mchana. Na mimi nataka niwaulize watu wa hapa Manga, tafadhali, mkiona tumesimama hapa mbele yenu, tunawaambia ya kwamba tutengeneze hiyo serikali inakuja ambayo inaelewa lugha ya mwananchi wa kawaida. Watu wa Manga, mko tayari?
After the Jubilee regime was over, Ruto won the 2022 elections with Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate. Things took a quick shift. The country was still grappling with corruption, rising inflation, and unemployment.
But 2022, a little of 340 shillings, totally.
We will be patient with you. Just go now to Ruiru.
That's not
go to Ruiru. Yes. Set a crew there. We are here for 2 hours. What's the hurry for? So you're here for 2 hours. So when the Ruiru.
Okay.
Why should we go to Ruiru? There is a
But perhaps the most telling sign of Ruto's growing political isolation came when his own deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, found himself under attack. Once Ruto's...
To a man who have been your deputy, who helped you to become president, irrespective of whatever he has done, at his lowest moment in life, when he's literally struggling to stay alive, you unleash such viciousness against him. I bear no grudge against anybody, but I had not seen that in President William Ruto. The man I'm seeing is not the one that I thought that I knew. I know there was concerted effort that I should not go to Kwale for the celebration.
Don't be afraid. Shake off the snake. That viper on your hand, Your Excellency, the viper, the snake in your government, please shake it off. Shake it off, Your Excellency. Shake it off, not for your own sake so that it doesn't bite you. Shake off the snake on your hand so that your hand may do what the Lord purposed that hand to do, to deliver our country safely.
Once Ruto's trusted partner, Gachagua was now battling against impeachment and political betrayal. The man who had helped Ruto rise to power was now fighting for his political life. As the months went by, Ruto's promises to lift the people up from poverty and inequality began to ring hollow. Despite his calls for empowering the hustler, ordinary Kenyans continued to suffer the same struggles they had before. Prices of fuel and food skyrocketed, youth unemployment hit record highs, and businesses, especially small ones, struggled to survive.
Today, this amateur video surfaced online. The crowd there could be heard calling for the price of fuel to be lowered and even an end to the promises. Have a look.
In the end, William Ruto's journey is a tale of ambition, resilience, and perhaps most painfully, betrayal. A man who once promised to fight for the people, to give them power, has found himself facing a population that feels abandoned. His once loyal followers now question if the hustler's dream was ever truly possible. Can Ruto regain their trust? Can the man who once stood for the people now stand with them in their hour of need? Kenya's dream of change, of a bottom-up revolution, now seems like a distant memory. The hustlers are still hustling, but the promise of a new Kenya, a Kenya built by the people, for the people, remains elusive. William Ruto's legacy is still unfolding, but for many, the question remains, was it ever really his dream to begin with? Or was it merely the hope of the people he betrayed? Kenya's story is not over. The hustlers may have been forgotten, but they will not be silenced. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear, the Kenyan spirit will endure. The question remains, will Ruto rise above the storm, or will Kenya's dream of a better tomorrow slip away into the past? If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to the community web of Deceit Savannah Stories. Till next time, keep sharing the content. Bye bye.